The moment the bully's hand shoved him forward, everything seemed to slow down. The coffee cup in his hand slipped from his fingers, the sound of porcelain cracking against the floor echoed through the cafe, and dozens of eyes turned toward him. A single father, already carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, had just been humiliated in front of the most powerful person in the room. But what happened next left everyone speechless. The man everyone thought was weak would soon prove that kindness, patience, and dignity could be stronger than cruelty. Before we begin this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of treating people with respect, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to Echoes of Tales for more inspiring stories. The cafe was usually a peaceful place during the early morning hours. Sunlight poured through the large glass windows, painting golden patterns across the wooden tables. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air, and the quiet sound of people starting their day created a sense of comfort. But that morning, something felt different. A man named Kalen Mercer walked through the door carrying a worn backpack, a small lunchbox, and the tired expression of someone who had not slept enough in years. He was 38 years old, a single father, and someone who had learned that life rarely gave people a fair chance. His son, 8-year-old Rowan, was waiting at home with his grandmother because Kalen had promised he would finish a few extra hours of work before picking him up. Every minute he spent away from his son was difficult, but every sacrifice was made for one reason: to give Rowan a better future. Kalen worked multiple jobs. During the day, he repaired office equipment. At night, he delivered food across the city. Some days, he barely had enough energy to unlock the door of his small apartment, but the moment Rowan ran into his arms and smiled, every hardship felt worth it. That morning, Kalen had one important reason for visiting the cafe. He had been invited to meet someone who could possibly offer him a better job opportunity. A company executive wanted to discuss a maintenance position, and Kalen saw it as a chance to finally escape the endless struggle. He arrived early, wearing the only formal shirt he owned. It was slightly faded, and the sleeves had been carefully repaired by hand, but he wore it proudly. He sat quietly near the corner, reviewing notes and preparing himself. That was when the trouble began. A young man named Braxton Vale entered the cafe with a group of co-workers. He was confident, expensive clothes, a loud voice, and the kind of attitude that made people move aside when he walked past. Braxton worked for the same company Kalen hoped to join. He had grown up believing that success gave him permission to look down on others. When he noticed Kalen sitting near the meeting area, he immediately frowned. "What are you doing here?" Braxton asked. Kalen looked up calmly. "I'm waiting for a meeting." Braxton laughed. "A meeting? Here?" The people around them started noticing the tension. Kalen tried to ignore him. He had learned that arguing with arrogant people rarely solved anything. He picked up his coffee and quietly moved his papers aside. But Braxton was not finished. "You know, people like you always surprise me," he said. "You show up in places you don't belong and expect people to take you seriously." Kalen looked at him, but he didn't respond. Years of struggle had taught him something important. Not every insult deserved an answer. Unfortunately, silence often made cruel people even more aggressive. Braxton stepped closer. "I'm talking to you." Kalen gently placed his cup down. "I heard you," he replied. "I just don't think disrespect deserves a conversation." The cafe became quiet. For the first time, Braxton looked uncomfortable. Then his pride took over. He reached forward and bumped Kalen's shoulder. It was not enough to knock him down. Not yet. But then, as Kalen turned away, Braxton pushed harder. Kalen lost his balance. His body fell forward, and his coffee cup flew from his hand. The glass shattered against the floor. His papers scattered everywhere. The entire cafe froze. Everyone saw it. The single father who had walked in hoping for a better future was now standing there embarrassed, surrounded by broken pieces. Some people looked away. Some whispered. But no one moved. Kalen slowly looked down at the mess. For a moment, his face showed pain. Not because of the fall. Because for a second, he felt like the world had confirmed his worst fear. That no matter how hard he worked, people would always see him as someone less important. Then he noticed something. A small photo had fallen from his wallet. It was a picture of Rowan smiling. Kalen picked it up carefully. And something inside him changed. He remembered the reason he kept fighting. He remembered the little boy who believed his father was the strongest person in the world. Kalen stood up. He didn't yell. He didn't insult Braxton. He simply looked at him with calm disappointment. That was unnecessary, Kalen said. Braxton smirked. What are you going to do about it? Before Kalen could answer, a voice came from across the room. That's enough. Everyone turned. A man in a dark suit had been sitting quietly at a table near the window. He had watched everything. His name was Alistair Voss, the CEO of the company Kalen was supposed to meet. The room became completely silent. Braxton's face changed instantly. Mr. Voss, I. But the CEO raised his hand. He looked at Kalen first. Are you all right? Kalen nodded. I'm fine.